All right. What it is, Daniacs. And I saw this when it popped up about a month ago, and I wanted to do a video on it. And I had my old phone at that time. Now, I can't figure out how to do a proper split screen on this and then a screen record. I wish I could make that bubble bigger to show my stupid face, but it is what it is. So, any chance I get to, I like to hop on it when I can mix some of my favorite subjects together. So, this here is Aljamain Sterling's channel at Funkmaster UFC. He is an ex UFC champion. He is still fighting. He went up a weight division, and he's going between the three of them. They're going to have a little theological discussion here. Now, Aljamain is Muslim. The guy on the right, white dude, he is Jewish, and I'm not sure about the Asian guy, but we'll just I'll identify him as a Christian just to round it out, whether he is or not, because I don't remember him ever making it clear one way or the other. So I'm just gonna fill in the spaces with my imagination, which is my right as a theist. I am a non-Abrahamic true monotheist. I believe followers of Abraham are essentially a blood cult of sin worshippers, but don't leave. We're still brothers. I still love you. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. So I do believe in the construct of the actual one true creator, but I believe that followers of Abraham have used, abused, and twisted that construct, because I don't have any scriptures or dogmas demanding that I harm my fellow man, whereas followers of Abraham, they have all kinds of scriptures and dogmas demanding that they demanding and justifying harm for their fellow mans. So one of my favorites is any and all, whether great or small, who are arrogant enough to not accept the ruling of a judge or priest of Abraham shall surely be killed. So when you go around having scriptures like that you cling to, and I will ask any followers of Abraham, will you just disavow these handful of scriptures that justify and demand that you harm your fellow man? Will you? That's my general question to most of them. But the resounding answer is no, we will not. Okay, and they'll have some kind of backsliding, a backpedaling reason or another as to why they won't. But when it comes down to it, it's because deep down they know that they are in a blood cult, and deep down they know that. But by extremists of the very religion that they capitulate to, that those extremists will kill them if they disavow a single verse in their books. Y'all know this. I know this. It's okay. Let's talk about it. So, how I define God, I have 4 scientifically observable traits which I use to help define my perception of the one true creator, which is unity, consciousness, dark, and light. The dark and light are complementary and symbiotic. They are not antagonistic, as is the misperception projected upon them by a lot of followers of Abraham. I also call it the fractal singularity omnimatrix. A fractal is a self-similar pattern, shape, or consciousness. The singularity is a state of being singular, and omni means all, and a matrix is something that essentially provides a substrate in which something can grow, and that thing that is growing is the singularity, is the fractal singularity that is growing within the omnimatrix. The one is the all. All consciousness is an extension of the omniconsciousness. God is living through our lives. That is why he is the living God, because all of life is his life. There is no creation that is separate from the one true creator. There is no state or no place that is separate from the one true creator. Like Christians like to say, they like to say that hell is a state in which you are separate from the creator. But yet, if hell is true, then the one true creator is not omnipresent. Y'all got to pick one. If you want to cling to hell, that's fine. But in doing so, you must admit that God is not omnipresent, which seems to be a problem for a lot of them, because they like to say he's omnipresent, yet there's a place where he is not present, which is a logical contradiction. Now, I am not contradiction phobic. There are different types of contradictions. You have easily dismissible and disprovable contradictions, while on the other hand, you have other types of contradictions that are scientifically verified such as the Heisenberg uncertainty principles. Okay, so let's get into this little theological conversation. I've had enough fucking 5 minutes of preamble. Let's get all up in it. Now, a fair warning. This is probably the worst audio they have on any one of their episodes, and they fixed it moving forward, but there is some bad audio on this, so let's just get into it.
That's how it works.
I'm just saying.
That's how it works with my Jewish friend here. That's how.
Oh my God,
that's
crazy! This is crazy. No, I didn't say anything.
No.
All this man talks to me about is how the Jews are ruining the world. No, but they might.
You should look at
Really,
is that really what I said?
This is going to be.
Is that really what I said?
Low key. Yeah, I got to take this part out.
Is that really what I said? Talking about?
Yeah, I saw this a month ago, and I'm like, God damn, I got to jump on this. And I just got done spending an hour looking around for this episode because I forgot exactly which one it was,
About.
No, I don't keep it in, but I never said that.
No, you didn't explicitly say that.
No, so we
do debate a lot.
We had a debate.
It is all implicit, okay? All implicit.
Jews are evil.
I never. My debate with you has never been that Jews are evil.
Okay, and let me make clear my stance on the situation, which is I have met some amazing Jewish people, and any one religion is not a monolith. As much as they like to pretend that they are a monolith, any one religion is not a monolith. They are all divided up into sects, sects. There's all kinds of different tribes within each religion. So religions are not a monolith. I have met amazing Jewish people, great Christian people. I haven't met a whole lot of Muslims personally, but I've heard there's a bunch of great Muslims out there. But now you have all the peaceful, loving ones, sure. But what do they do when the extremists come around? They just tuck their head in the corner and jog the fuck on. They're not going to stop the extremists. So it is oftentimes the extremist of each religion who ends up defining that religion. Oh yeah, that's bars right there, ain't it? So with all that being said, there are factions within the Jewish religion who want the entire world to attack the entire Jewish religion. And anyone who adheres to it, because this fortifies their us versus them mentality. This makes the Jews that are strewn out all around the world, because there's all kinds of communities of Jews all around the world, okay, that are just living their nice, peaceful lives. And they're great people. Now, to them, I will ask, will you disavow the handful of scriptures which call for and justify harming your fellow man? That's a blanket. Will you? And it's okay. Most say no, but that's okay. You can't even admit that there might be a few things in that their holy book that aren't quite right. But now, see, I say that divine sovereignty is the source of divine revelation. Okay, so now you have all these. When you have a physical creation by a co-creator, that is then a totem. Okay, and a totem is meant to serve as inspiration for any observing that totem to look within to discover their divine sovereignty, their inseparable connection to the actual one true creator. But now when people go around saying this thing right here, this totem, this book, this building, this political state, when they go around saying that this thing right here is the exclusive source of divine revelation, that totem is then upgraded to an idol. Bars. Now, it's okay. I don't have any scriptures or dogmas demanding harm on people engaging in idol worship, but they do. And when I point out when I lay down what I just did to them, they don't like that, because automatically they're thinking, oh no, if he proves this is an idol, he will therefore have the right to kill me. Because that's how it is baked into their thinking. Kill people that worship idols. Okay, so, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm just pointing out that it is an idol. When you say this here book is the exclusive source of divine revelation, that's a fucking idol, bro. Because that there book is just a totem, a representation, a symbol of that divine revelation. Not even the source claims exclusivity. Not even the source. The divine sovereignty is the source of divine revelation. Not even divine sovereignty claims exclusive divine revelation, even though it could, but it doesn't, because it doesn't need to. Because when you go around proclaiming and projecting, that is projecting power. And when you project power, that is coming from a place of weakness, and it actually causes you to leak out your power and lose your power. So I just had a conversation with Tovia Singer about this, and he didn't like me telling him that the Torah was an idol. So anyway, long story short is I don't have anything against the particular people that uphold the religion unless you choose to uphold these scriptures which call for and justify harming your fellow man. At that point, I take issue with you.
You and the other guy, I'm not going to say his name.
Wait.
But I've never once said Jews are evil.
I'm gonna block this out.
No, in the rest of our group chat.
Bobby.
I've never once had that debate with you saying, yo, bro, Jews are evil. Never once.
No, you never, I'm saying you never made that claim. I say that
they control a lot of stuff that has a lot of influence for American countries and culture. Not countries, but our country.
Is it fair that... But there's a lot of countries... There's a lot of countries and cultures who you can make that exact same claim for. But everyone hates... My whole thing is, everyone hates on Jews way more than the other countries.
I think everyone should
for the same offenses, in my opinion.
Do you think there's
I don't think so.
Yes. Thank you, my Asian friend, which I never caught his fucking name or his religion. He's just kind of a talking head in the mix. But my Asian friend, thank you for making the distinction, because there is a big difference between a Zionist in particular and a regular practitioner of Judaism. There's a big difference. Now within Judaism, there is elements of Zionism, but when you say Zionism, that is making it clear that those are the elements that you are most aligned with, the elements of Zionism, which is pretty much everyone must submit to us. The whole world is our cum dumpster type deal.
I think the only thing people complain about Jews...
China shipping fentanyl into our country, and it's killing hundreds of thousands of people in our country every year.
China doesn't have
but you don't have riots in New York City. They do. China has mad influence in our country.
What are you talking about, bro? We just had riots a few years ago with Biden. The fuck you talking about? No, it wasn't riot. It was peaceful protesting. As long as they're a minority, then they can riot, and it's called a peaceful protest. Which that's very funny. I remember a handful of years ago. And what Middle East country was that they were pulling this exact same fucking playbook? They were having people riot and calling it peaceful protests. And I thought that was very weird back then. And I had an inkling, I had a feeling that they were just warming up those tactics for America. And then lo and fucking behold, a few years later, here it is in America, these same exact tactics. What fucking country was that? It's one of the Middle East countries. Fucking Jordan, no. Yes and no. I'm not as smart as I look, y'all.
Influence.
Our entire economy is built on China.
All right, but that's different.
How is that different? That's even...
Okay, that is intentional. Okay, that is very intentional. That did not happen by accident. Okay, all the American manufacturers were ran out of the country by laws. Yes. So that is all part of the social engineering. Okay, America is being socially engineered to collapse in order to make the one world order. This has always been part of the plan, and the dominoes have been in effect ever since I was a kid. You know, just as you get older, you take more notice of those dominoes crumbling down, and America is turning into a third world country.
When I'm talking influence, I'm talking in a position of power where you can change policies and have foreign affairs where you're going and starting a war. That's the type of stuff I'm talking about.
That's one type of influence.
That's the only thing I've ever talked about. I don't talk about the other stuff because I don't care about the...
But hold on. That's bad. What you just said. What you just said is bad, right?
Yes.
But so is what I just said. China's doing.
That's also bad.
But in the general zeitgeist and culture that we live in today,
okay,
how much more do you hear about Jewish people as opposed to Chinese people.
Because
so hold on. So my point is, I disagree, but my point is,
you think it's more?
There's an unfair amount of the conversation being had towards the Jews.
And now this circles back around to what I was talking about earlier. There are factions within the Jewish community who it benefits for the entire world to look down on the entire Jewish community. Okay? And also, if you look at who owns a lot of these media companies that are projecting all of this, you might be surprised to see that a large percentage of them are Jewish. But okay, so that only corroborates my theory that they are intentionally wanting the world to turn against the Jews all over the world who have nothing to do with all these infractions that are being thrust upon them. They got nothing to do with that. They're just trying to live their happy little Jew life, studying their books and doing their things. Like I said, there's a lot of beautiful things in the Jewish religion, and I have always said, well, I mean, since I started really delving into it the last couple of years, the Jews are the closest to the actual one true creator. I mean, there's definitely a handful of things in their religion I totally disagree with, but there's a lot of the things in their religion that I do agree with and that I appreciate. Less so for Christianity, but I'm more familiar with Christianity too. I was raised in Christianity, and I'm sure there's plenty of beautiful things in the Muslim culture and religion that are beautiful and good for society, but yet those things are overshadowed by the small fractions of extremists within those religious communities who often dictate the perception of that community by the world looking upon them. For fucktard, I come out with some bars every now and then, y'all.
To do whatever you're saying.
I'm gonna agree with that at this point.
So that's why I always...
Look, here's what I'll say. I think it's definitely, how about this? If you go down the rabbit hole, I'm going to say respectfully, there's definitely a lot of Jewish guys that did some bad things in history. And I think a lot of people go back and they look at that.
Yeah.
Well, just because some people from some group did some bad things does not mean all people who claim to be a part of that same group or community equally shares it all in the actions of those individuals. Religions are not monoliths. They are made up. Each consciousness is a single part that contributes to that religion.
No one cuts it. They go all the way to the BCs, which is just insane.
And I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying that's right either. I'm just saying the problem with that is too
we could say that about. We can say that about everybody.
Though. Exactly.
So why?
You know what else we could say about everyone is that every single race has been a slave at one point or another. But yet, why is it that in the general zeitgeist of America, you only hear about black slaves? It is because there is part of an intentional, ongoing agenda by, once again, the elites, those in charge. It's all part of the divide and conquer protocols. The more different things you can get people to identify with, instead of just a one singular identity, like, hey, I'm American. They don't like that. They don't like a bunch of people running around saying, hey, I'm American. They want to interject and introduce all kinds of different subdivisions and sub-identities for people to cling on to, anything to deter them away from unity.
Modern, let's just talk about the last 100 years of where American culture is. I don't think there's Chinese influence to the point where they're coming in and changing our policies, making us go to war over the Middle East.
Real quick, I'm agreeing with you.
United we stand, divided we fall. And he who divides will conquer all.
By the way, I think it's definitely not more centered towards the youth, but
I think you're
for that
about it because you're Jewish.
Well, I think that's fair too. No, that's fair too. How about this?
Guilty.
This is what we talk about.
Guilty.
But how about this? If the Asians were fucking up, I'd be like, the Asians are fucking up. Yeah, I'm fair about it. You gotta be fair about it.
Hold on. If we're gonna have conversations about groups of people with a lot of influence all over the world who do bad things and misuse their power, let's just have an even amount of conversation.
In America.
So China shipping fentanyl that kills hundreds of thousands of people.
China also owns a fuck ton of American farmland. Okay, and when I say China, any Chinese company is an extension of China. It's not like in America where an American company has a separation from the actual American government when they're out abroad in the world. So every single Chinese company that owns land in America, that is essentially now a home base for China. So China actually owns all kinds of land in America, which a lot of people don't know that. Oh, okay. And so let's follow that rabbit hole just a little bit. That was allowed. Okay. There was laws, rules, and regulations passed to let that happen. That wasn't just by accident. Once again, it's not like China accidentally had access to buy up all kinds of land in America. That was all orchestrated as part of the New World Order, annihilate America, destroy it, and turn it into something else type deal.
Same thing like cocaine and all that.
Why is that not at the forefront of the conversation too?
It should be. But when I'm talking,
that's my main thing.
I think because the other one is
that's not in the same argument.
Also, the other one is so easily.
No, but my point is, why are we? It's always lately since October 7th. It's always about Jews.
October 7th.
Yeah, even before.
When they passed.
Yeah, I get you. I'm gonna say even before that, but I get what you're saying. But like,
even definitely years before that, the anti-Semitism was escalating.
Yeah, but for what reason?
Okay, let's evaluate that anti-Semitism. Okay. What is a Semite? A Semite is one who upholds the laws of Hashem Yahweh. Now, within those laws, let's circle back around to my favorite. Any and all, whether great or small, who are arrogant enough to not accept the rule or verdict of a priest or judge of Abraham shall surely be killed. So I don't like that. I don't agree with that. That's pretty much saying suck my dick or die. So does that make me an anti-Semite if I don't want to suck your dick or die? So to me, it actually, what do you guys call us? Gentiles. It sounds to me like you guys are anti-gentilic. You are anti-gentilic. If you are one who upholds scriptures such as those, and you got to ask yourself a hard question right there. Am I one of those? Am I one of these people who will absolutely refuse to disavow these scriptures, and not only disavow, will I turn a blind eye while my fellow compatriots of my religion, my extremist fellows, run around killing people under these scriptures, using these scriptures as their justification? Hard questions here. So, am I anti-Semitic, or are you anti-gentilic? Okay. If you think that the entire world must submit to you and your theology, then you are therefore anti-gentilic. And now, if you are forcing your theology upon me, saying "suck my dick or die," essentially, I know it's crude, guys. I know, but that kind of gets the point across. Because once you capitulate theologically, then you will culturally capitulate sexually, which is essentially suck my dick or die. So I will not suck the Abrahamic dick. None of y'all's. I'll bite that shit off, motherfucker. And not only will I bite it off, I am spearheading the Alliance of Defiance, which is just a collaboration of all those who look up and realize that there has been a line drawn in the sand, and they are on the other side of it because they absolutely refuse to capitulate to the rule or judge of a follower of Abraham. So once again, I ask, will you disavow these verses that demand and justify that you hurt your fellow man, that you harm your fellow man for this, that, or the other? That is a very serious internal critique you must take on yourself.
I really don't know.
Well, that's where you got to answer that.
Before October 7th, I don't know. But
and if you are one of these people who say, no, I will not disavow these scriptures, And not only will I not disavow these scriptures, I low-key support these scriptures. You should die if you don't capitulate to us. If you are one of those people, then at the same time, you can't be a person that says, oh, you're anti-Semitic, you just don't like me. No, that is gaslighting. Because if your theology is calling for my death and I am defending myself from the attack of your theology, that is not me attacking your theology. That is me defending myself from your theology. Woo, woo. Alliance of Defiance, what it is, honkies. Alliance of Defiance. Now, the Alliance of Defiance isn't orchestrated to attack you guys. The Alliance of Defiance is orchestrated to let you motherfuckers know you're not going to take over the world. I don't care what your little scripture says right there. You are not going to take over the entire world. It's not going to happen. Because there will be motherfuckers like me that say, no, I do not submit. I do not capitulate. And I will resist. I will defy. I was called on by the actual one true creator to defy the broken theology of Abraham everywhere that I encounter it. And what makes the theology of Abraham broken is that it incessantly attempts to interject division into that which is united. The creation, the people, all of people are God's people, not the Jews. That's a clue right there that tells me Hashem Yahweh is not the actual one true creator. I got a big old list of reasons why they're not the one true creator for each religion, for Jews, for Christians, and for Muslims. But that's one of the reasons is when you say this people is my people. Yeah, I'm the God of all things. No, if you are the one true creator, then all people, all things, all life, every quanta of creation is your creation.
I could go really.
No, I get it.
I have a lot of crazy theories.
I don't know. I'm agreeing with you largely.
Or not even theories. I have a lot of observations I've made.
No, dude, I'm agreeing with 90% of what you're saying here. But again, I think we're just coming down to different conclusions. Again,
I'm not saying the Jews are I'm not saying there's not a group of Jewish people
that aren't fucking up,
who have misused their powers.
Israeli Jews.
They're not all Israeli.
All right, that's fair.
Some of them are here.
Some 100%. I was going to say that too. Some of them are literally here.
But if we're going to have a fair conversation, let's just talk about all the groups.
Yes, sir. And that's exactly what I was talking about. There are factions within a religious community, okay, who are essentially giving the entire religious community a bad name. But these factions are usually extremists. They're usually violent and underhanded. And the more passive, more reasonable members of that religious community dare not confront them, dare not oppose them. So in doing so, and same thing for America, for Americans who are too passive in opposing all the wars that our government has unleashed upon the world. Okay, in the same way that Americans are still slightly responsible for all these wars around the world, in that same way, the more passive contributors to these religious communities are at least a little bit responsible for the atrocities committed by their extremist members, who they did nothing to dissuade or stop or fucking whistleblow. I'm not saying there was no whistleblowers, but not enough to make a difference to stop the more extremist members of their religious community.
Okay, in America even.
Yeah, but when I say Israeli Jews, I'm talking people who want influence for protection or funding millions and billions of dollars
in other countries.
Israel.
Okay, fine.
In other countries that don't
can
we without the Ukraine?
No, fine. I'll admit we do. I see why people are mad that we give money to Israel.
And if that money was going to Jamaica, people would be I can.
Yes, our tax dollars have contributed to genocide. There's no way to get around it. And this isn't the first, genocide. Every war that America has enacted. And this brings me to another point. Okay, and this is a time-old tragedy right here. America could be the shining example to the world of a futuristic modern society all over the country, with all the fucking taxes that we have accumulated over the last 100 years. But the majority of those taxes have been siphoned off into all these covert government agencies and into secret societies, who are embedded within the government, who get their little backdoor deals going on, and yeah, our tax dollars are funding these wars. Our tax dollars are funding these fucking underground cities that we're not allowed in. So we are being robbed from, essentially, and people don't even realize or notice this, the extent to which we are being robbed from. Okay, we shouldn't be having dated pipes all over the country, feeding poison water to everyone, because these pipes were made in the 50s out of lead, and then they wanted to put some kind of chemical sealant over the lead just to kind of patch the problem up so they didn't have to redo the pipes, all the while slowly poisoning the population. These are all factors contributing to the decline of America, and these are not accidental factors. These are intentional eventualities which have been forced upon us.
But if Jamaica, I wouldn't be mad about it if Jamaica held a strategic position in the Caribbean islands.
I think that's
that
where
made sense for us to have military power.
I think that's what people question.
That's what Israel's like a man. This is gonna get me.
Well, the whole reason, because Israel as it is today was forcibly inserted and instated years ago, and in doing so, that has created the tensions around Israel. So they're acting like, oh, Israel as a country is a strategic outpost, you know, out there in the Middle East, but we created that problem. That entire the problems are intentionally created to corral the population toward a specific and intentional solution.
Fucking bro, we cannot air this. What are you talking about?
Actually, this conversation has been almost building up between us.
No, this is a good conversation.
Like we've been talking about it a lot over DM, so it's now we're just
having
a
fair conversation. Like,
but I do want you to understand. My stance has never been that Jews are evil. I know
that, bro. I'm just my point. The reason I push back so much when you guys are talking about that in the group chat is because I'm like, yo, why is it always about my people? It's like it's never like.
Tell me something about Jamaicans. I don't give a shit.
Well, I don't really know much about Jamaicans, but there's two other people in that group chat. One's Muslim, one's Christian, and I can have a laundry list.
Jamaicans shake their ass way too vigorously, and I hate that. I hate it. I don't like how good they are at it, at shaking that ass. I don't like it. They got the schwang to that thing, okay, and it drives me fucking crazy, Aljo. I'm not here to stand for it, Aljo. All that jiggly booty everywhere. We can't be having that shit, Aljo.
Things about each of those groups of people that I could air out all the time if I wanted to.
But thousands of years.
But like, how does that? But it's like, why is the Christian church being a pedophile ring or the Catholic Church being a pedophile ring not the topic of conversation much as?
But I agree.
But it's never brought up as much as right now.
I don't think it's brought up because it doesn't have the influence in our country.
Yeah, in our current
hundreds of millions of Catholics.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, what I'm explaining when I say influence, I'm talking anything overseas that are foreign affairs that we stick our noses in because, hey, we're big bad America. But it's like, well, why are we going over there? Who's actually pushing us to go to these places? And when you go back and you trace it, it always comes back to, and it's like, well,
say it.
Well,
Israel.
It comes back to Israel. And it's an awkward conversation.
And this is why I always say that too. Like there should be a distinction between Jews and Zionists. I really think there should be.
That's the distinction. The same way if it was like Hamas versus regular Palestinians. 100%. Like 100%. I can make that distinction all day long and agree with you. Like, yeah, the fucking Hamas people are bad.
No good.
And they're bad for Jewish people because they're just fucking.
They seem to be bad for society.
Yeah. Of shit.
But again, there should be.
And everyone keeps forgetting that America helped formulate Hamas to help combat the Russians and the Cold War. Everyone seems to forget that the American military had a hand in creating Hamas. That goes back to creating the problem to bring about an intentional, specified solution.
Distinction. That's why I always say like You know that guy I told you, Nick Fuentes.
Yeah.
I gotta look this guy up because everyone talks about this.
I got a theory about him too, bro.
You think he's a
homosexual?
Oh yeah, that part I think so. Yeah, that part I can believe.
Nothing wrong with it, but
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
I listened to him on Tucker. I listened to him on Patrick Bet David. I don't even disagree with his points. That's why I say he's actually like the MMA guru. Like and same thing with MMA guru. I don't even
fuck MMA guru. That's just a natural reaction. Anytime I hear that motherfucker's name, fuck MMA guru. Me and MMA guru need to do a influencer fucking MMA match. Fuck that motherfucker. And I was actually glad to see that he's a big ol' like 6'5" training, because he used to be fat and in a wheelchair, but he got himself right. He's all training, so that's good. Give me that big ass fucking tree. I'll chop that motherfucker down.
Disagree with your points. It's more just like, dude, like you're talking about it. Yeah, like the way you're talking about it, like you should get slapped. Like you don't understand. Like you know, like
but
you know,
that's why it works.
No, I get it. No, there's an audience for that clearly. But I'm like, yeah, like Nick Fuentes, for a well-spoken guy, I'm like, the way you're saying this, like you got to get hit for this. Like you can't, like you know, you can't.
Notice you didn't really start hearing about Nick Fuentes till after the Charlie Kirk death. It's almost like a handful of people were propped up to fill that void that Charlie left. They couldn't control Charlie, but I'm pretty sure that these other people that are being propped up after Charlie are being controlled. Controlled opposition is what I'm getting at here.
But it's also like,
can't get away with that.
He's talking about fighters. He's not talking about
that's what I'm saying. Like you can't,
That's why
get
it's
away
hilarious though, because it's like they could all whoop your ass.
That's
and
why
you stay in your little fucking cave.
That's what I can't stand.
Stream on a shitty camera.
Yeah.
But whatever. Anyway,
we have to end all that out.
But just to end that, I have no disregard. Like even if it was Jewish people, Chinese people, Korean, if they were in a position of power where they collectively came together and said, we're going to empower our people in America, that's more than fine with me. And if they come to a position of power in media or Hollywood or music, they did that. They earned it, right? So I can't go and say, this is messed up, you control us. Well, you allowed us to do this. My issue
free
is...
market.
Yes.
Actually, at the time, they were pushed into those industries because they weren't allowed in other industries.
Yeah, other jobs, yes.
That's why, like, I'm pretty sure in Europe, like, before the Holocaust, there was, like, Jews had to work in banks because there was, like, bans against them being doctors or lawyers. So they did whatever they could to make money. And then they get a stronghold there. And now everyone hates them for
and that's what I say, like, if...
Or us, I guess.
No, it's the same thing, though. Like,
I'm not
if it was the Asians that were doing the same thing, no, I mean... But, like...
So this is pretty much the end of their theology, religious talk right here, which I love whenever I get a chance to mix a couple of my favorite subjects together. So MMA and theology, let's go. Let's go. Now, I've been... ever since Aljo beat Henry Cejudo, Triple C, was it like 2 years ago or something? Ever since then, I've been rolling with Aljo, watching his stuff, and he used to respond to me till he realized that I ain't quite right. But but I found a way to have a theological conversation with you anyway, didn't I, Aljo? Didn't I? You beautiful motherfucker. All right, cool. Thanks for rolling with me, y'all. I am the brightest night, I am the darkest light, and I am ascending, as are we all. The dark light is upon you. Stay beautiful, motherfuckers.